Is it fair to say that the greatest fraud check of all time happened on Saturday when Andrew Tate lost to Chase DeMoor? This might be the quintessential fraud check.
This was some of the worst boxing I've ever seen in my entire life. It made me want to commit to boxing and go on a Misfits run. That's the power of this fight. It's given me that level of delusion.
Round one, Tate comes out, and there was obviously a lot of people there to watch Tate, and he did some good things. He jabbed Chase to the body. I thought he was trying to set up his pull counter.
I would say Andrew Tate's body work is probably good in this fight. The jab to the body, the cross the body is really, really good. But each time he goes for the head, that's where he kind of slips up, because Chase DeMoor is doing a good job of getting out of range to try to avoid his head getting hit.
After the first round, I looked at, and he was on his stool like, I was like, oh shit, he's huffing after one, dude. After one round, because he won the first round.
I mean, credit to Andrew Tate, you know, stepping up and doing his thing too. But like, and I love the way he presents himself and how he challenged himself to go do something. But you know, it's like, at the end of the day, that fight was horrible.
Chase DeMoor, his defense is like painfully bad. And Andrew Tate came out there and he didn't look too bad in that first two rounds. I'm telling you.
Was he flailing at the end?
He came out there composed. He was throwing some nice jabs to the body. And I think he thought he was going to catch Chase DeMoor a little bit like harder, but it just didn't seem to have that thump.
Like, he just didn't seem like he was, he seemed like he was starting to fatigue pretty early on. First round, second round, you kind of already start seeing it. But you got to push your cardio. Cardio's king. If you're, it doesn't matter how good your skills are, if you're absolutely gassed out, I mean, cardio is going to, like, Chase DeMoor beat Andrew Tate because his cardio was better.
If I had to explain the fight, I felt good. Fighting camp went good. I felt good psychologically. First couple of rounds I was winning. I think when we started tying up, he's just really big, really young, really fit. And I think I got tired.
Saying I would have won if I didn't get tired is identical to someone going out, getting kicked in their forehead, and then going down unconscious onto the canvas and being like, I would have won if I didn't get kicked in the face. Identical. There is no difference between those two things. Being tired makes everyone beatable. Everyone.
Like, Tate was in survival mode really from the midway point of round 3 till the end of the fight. Like, I looked up at the clock. I'm sitting there, you know, by the commentary desk. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at the time and the rounds, and it was like midway through the third, and Tate was gassed, like done. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get knocked out. Somehow he survived, and it's not really a somehow thing. It's because Chase just refuses to put punches together in any orderly fashion and give himself space to operate.
He threw uppercuts from his fucking ankles, rear uppercuts that were catching Tate in the later rounds once Tate was completely gassed. But this was some of the lowest level boxing I've ever seen in my life, and I've watched women's MMA for fucking years. Juliana Pena has better boxing than both.
I'm gonna go slow motion. He comes in, he feints, he comes in to grab, upper comes through, then he goes to this side, he switches his hips. Now he's still turning. That left hook comes. He went here, turn, boom. Not the prettiest of shots. That's not a bad shot. That's a good shot. It's a beautiful shot, actually.
He was getting hit with stuff that were like comically bad punches, and he couldn't get out of the way of them. It's like, this is not your image, you know.
I'm shocked that it wasn't an easier opponent, is what I'm shocked about. Like, I'm shocked that it wasn't just somebody who really was a cupcake, right?
A total
Look, don't get me wrong. I don't think Chase DeMoor is like something to write home about, but he at least has a pulse, and he's big, and he can kind of hit pretty hard. Like, I'm surprised it wasn't just cupcake number 5. You know, they pick some dude out of the crowd and just throw him in there.
Yet again, Andrew Tate, I didn't know much about the Moore guy, so I really can't talk about what his skill sets was or how Andrew, you know what I'm saying, didn't, you know, match up. But, you know, I heard it was just a ridiculous fight, first off. That it just, you know, watching it, it was just hard to kind of digest. And it was just one of them type of boxing fights that's like, what are these guys doing out here?
Dude, people do not realize how exhausting a fight is. Even just like the build up to a fight, you can be in great shape. We saw it in Jake's fight too. Jake was in good shape. Jake trained hard. It's like, dude, the build up, the emotions. It's different when you're fighting. Like, I'll say it's different. Like, for Tate fighting that guy, it's like Tate wasn't scared of that fight. I don't think Andrew Tate was scared to fight Chase DeMoor at all. I think that was literally being out the game for so long. I don't know how serious he took the fight. I had no insight on his camp at all.
You're misrepresenting yourself because it sounds really cool to like the average 14-year-old. Like, man, this guy Andrew Tate sparring for 50 minutes. This guy's a monster. And then you look at it and you're like, all right, come on. Like, now, where was that 50-minute sparring cardio when you're boxing this influencer? You know, that's where you have to actually kind of show what you were talking about. And again, that's what I mean. Like, don't say those things in those, like, when you're gonna, again, I guess, have to show what you're doing.
But again, one of the big things coming into this fight that I knew, that I said, that other people had said, and including Ben the Bane Davis, Chase DeMoor is so awkward and he's so tall and he is so long with his reach that it seems like it should be easier to hit him until you're in front of him. And Chase doesn't do really anything technically right.
This is the thing. He says Chase is tough, and that was, I don't know what to say. He's tough. He's really tough. It's not like he beat up Chase and Chase survived him because of a great chin. He landed a couple of decent punches on Chase's chin. And Chase, it's not like he gritted down when the going got tough. He just started clinching and working on the inside a little bit and swinging these fucking retarded shots that he was throwing that looked terrible. And Tate was just all over the place, clinging on for dear life.
I thought Andrew Tate was a world champion. I thought he was going to demolish Chase. What happened? Why is he taking punches to the face? By Chase. From Chase. Oh my God. Chase, man, congratulations. But oh my God, Andrew Tate looking like an idiot. Looking like a fool.
Yeah, I mean, for a 4-time world champion, you should have been able to box. That's all I gotta say. If you are a 4-time world champion, because I'm a 4-time world champion, but you know I might have lost, but I showed that I could still box. You know.
Yeah.
Andrew just didn't look good. Didn't look like it was like he had fought before.
Like, a lot of people look, oh, Tate looked horrible. Tate had some good, look at this, watch this. That is a beautiful slip. He just couldn't do anything with it, right? Right? If this was MMA, like I said before, take the hands that way, step deep. There's a double leg takedown.
There was a conversation I had with Andrew. You're 40 years old. You just got out of jail. You've been through so much. You have so many problems. There's so much going on. Why would you do this? Why would you risk it all? Why would you get in there? And I felt a tinge of fear for the first time in my life. And that's when I knew I had to fight. Because the second I felt afraid, I knew I had to fight. I can't live doubting myself.
Miss me with the like, I'm proud of myself for trying. And I went in there against the champion who's really good. No, you didn't. You went in there and you looked awful and you failed. And so just be honest about that. Because you have spewed all kinds of venom over the past 5 years about how you are the best and how you are the alpha male and how everyone else is a step below and all this other nonsense, and then you go out and fight. Like, why would you do that?
You know, the only thing for me is like afterwards he was like, you know, the best thing is to try and blah blah blah, and it's like, dude, that's not your message. Your message is not the best thing is to try and do your best and be humble and defeat. Your entire message is, you know, fuck chicks, make money, and the only people who can't do stuff like this are losers. Losers lose. He's actually got tweets that say this nearly verbatim. You know, this is, your message is not do your best, and if you lose, hold your head up high. It's quite the opposite. It's win or nothing. You know, it's very, very interesting that in a moment where he gets completely undressed for not having the ability to, maybe you could argue that maybe at one point he did, but certainly any longer, which I'm not saying he did that either.
There was no way that Chase should have won that fight. In reality of what Tate's background is and what Chase's is. And Andrew, I saw him after the fight chalk it up to, you know, an age thing and a size thing, but it's not even that. Where was the technique? You know, where was the defense? Where was the ability to see punches coming and get your hands in the right place? That's what I'm wondering.
Why did I get tired? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Makes perfect sense. You spent a year in a jail cell, a prison cell. And I'm not saying this like, excusing the loss. Okay, I'm telling you that like he should have known this. Like you didn't move. Like you're in a fucking prison cell. You can't run. You can't even walk around really, dude. Like it's gonna take any kind of stamina you've ever built up and take you down to 0. And he watched the same footage of the dude that we're all watching, and he's like, this guy cannot beat me. It's impossible. He can't.
Dude, those, I mean, again, just like Sean said, those nerves, that build up, that crowd, okay, now I'm here, I'm about to do it. Your body like is tense in a different way. So you fatigue more than you think you're gonna. And then going with a big guy like that. And again, Andrew Tate's what, 38? 38 years old, and his mind thinks he can do what he could when he was younger. And again, kickboxing's a little different. You got your teeps, you can keep this guy away, you got your head kicks, you got your snappy head kicks. Boxing, you come back, you get in good shape. You got to give him respect for not giving up.
I just like to see if Andrew wants to continue to box, which I don't think he is. I would like to see him, train more and just put more time in. I mean, when you take 10 years off from competing and going from kickboxing to boxing, that's why I haven't done it.
I think the best thing to do would be Jake Paul and Andrew Tate. Let's take the two guys that lost. Let's take the format that the UFC does, and they take two guys that have lost, that have a little bit of a name, and they say, you know what, we're going to pair those guys against each other, and one of them gets a win, and we move on. There's been talk before in the past of Andrew Tate and Jake Paul fighting. They're about the same size.
I think it's stupid for me to lose a fight and then start saying a bunch of other people's names and all this shit. That's not how I am. I like to believe, for one of the most well-known people on the planet, I'm quite humble and quite grounded. And I understand I just lost a fight. Sure. And for me to sit here and start calling out names is ridiculous. Let me, like I said, finish Christmas, come back, win 2, 3, 4 fights. Ring rust is gone now, warm-up's over, etc., and then we can talk about super fights.
Fred made a good point talking about who Chase should fight next. He said that maybe Tristan Tate could come and avenge Andrew Tate for the main event. That would be interesting as well. Regardless, I'll be interested to see if Andrew Tate really does want to fight again.
They're not going to do him and Tony Ferguson, right? Like, that's not something that's on the menu, correct?
Oh. Dude, the world we live in, how could it not be?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, But honestly, Tony might do him up bad. Like,
I'm wondering if Tony's the hero we need in this equation.